Did you know that Europe has a rainforest? Or that Norway owns an island so remote, no human has set foot on it in over 100 years? How about a lake that disappears every summer and comes back in the fall? Or a German town built entirely inside a meteor crater? European geography is full of wild facts and strange surprises you'd never expect. So get ready, because we're about to explore 50 insane facts about European geography. Fact 50. Italy's ever-erupting volcano. Stromboli, an Italian volcano in the Tyrrhenian Sea, has been erupting almost constantly for over 2,000 years. Its frequent fireworks earned it the nickname Lighthouse of the Mediterranean, because, as you'd guess, its nighttime eruptions light up the sky. This tiny 12-square-kilometer island has been grumbling and spewing lava since at least 350 BCE. Today, its eruption cycle continues. Since 1934, Stromboli has been regularly exploding with Strombolian blasts and lava flows, a fiery reminder of nature's relentless power. Fact 49. Upward waterfalls. Located halfway between Scotland and Iceland in the northeast Atlantic, the Faroe Islands are an archipelago of 18 mountainous islands, with a total land area of 1,399 square kilometers. And it's here where crazy winds can turn nature's rules upside down. During powerful storms, winds blow so strong that waterfalls appear to flow upward. Water is literally blasted back up the cliffs, defying gravity. This is a result of a rare sea vortex, or a phenomenon called a waterspout, where water spins off cliff edges, causing spray to climb the cliffs. Fact 48. A town with no shadows. In Norway's town of Rjukan, tucked deep in a mountain valley, the sun rarely reaches the town square for nearly 6 months each year. However, in 2013, the town found an ingenious way to get a bit of sunlight, installing giant mirrors on a nearby peak, reflecting sunlight back into the town like giant solar spotlights. This innovative solution not only brings sunlight, but also a touch of warmth to a place that would otherwise be stuck in shadow during the long winter months. Fact 47. Melting glacier moved a border. Climate change has literally reshaped the map in the Alps. As the Theodule Glacier receded, it shifted the drainage divide that marks the border between Switzerland and Italy. An Italian mountain refuge built in 1984 now straddles the new borderline. Most of the lodge, including beds and the restaurant, is technically in Switzerland. This unexpected change forced Switzerland and Italy to negotiate a new boundary agreement, showing how climate change can have real geopolitical consequences. Fact 46. Finland is only one country away from North Korea. It sounds impossible, but Finland and North Korea are actually separated by just one country, Russia. And while they're separated by over 4,166 miles, 6,705 kilometers, the real surprise is that there's only one landmass between them, Russia, stretching across 6.6 million square miles. So despite being on opposite ends of Europe and Asia, the world's map places Finland just a single country's border away from a distant, secretive nation. Fact 45. Russia has over 13,000 uninhabited villages, and it takes up 40% of Europe's land area. Did you know Russia isn't just massive? It's also filled with thousands of abandoned villages. According to the 2010 census, over 19,000 Russian villages had no permanent residents, especially in the remote north and east. Today, that number has probably grown, with rural depopulation pushing the count even higher. And here's the mind blower. Russia takes up about 40% of Europe's landmass, making it the largest country on the continent by a huge margin. So while much of its territory is sparsely populated or completely deserted, Russia's sheer size means it still dominates Europe's geography, and its ghost towns tell a story of changing times and shifting populations. Fact 44. There is a rainforest in Europe. When you think of rainforests, you probably picture South America, the Congo Basin, or Southeast Asia. However, Europe is home to its very own rainforest as well. Thanks to its climate, certain parts of the continent support dense forests. One of the last remaining is Perusica in Bosnia and Herzegovina, spanning about 3,500 acres. This ancient forest is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, protected for its incredible biodiversity and natural beauty. beauty. So next time you picture rainforests, remember, Europe's got a secret hidden in the heart of the Balkans. Fact 43. It is estimated you are never further than 10 miles from a lake in Switzerland. With up to 1,500 lakes, Switzerland is practically a water wonderland. And here's a fun fact. No matter where you are in the country, you're never more than about 10 miles from a lake. Big names like Lake Geneva and Lake Constance aren't just scenic. They're amongst the largest lakes in Europe. So where does all this water come from? The answer is simple. Melting snow from the Alps every summer. Thanks to those towering peaks, Switzerland's lakes are a constant reminder of the country's stunning natural cycle. Fact 42. Europe's only desert in Spain. Yes, you heard that right. Europe has a true desert, and it's in southern Spain, the Tabernas Desert in Almeria. With only 20 centimeters of rain per year, the Tabernas Desert looks more like Arizona than Andalusia, a scorched badland that could pass for the Wild West. In fact, it's famously been used as a filming location for spaghetti westerns, such as A Few Dollars More, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, Cleopatra, and Lawrence of Arabia. There's no wonder it's being called the Hollywood of Spain. Fact 41. Poland's mysterious crooked forest. In western Poland, in the village of Nowe Czernowo, near the town of Grafino, a grove of about 400 pine trees stands out, each with an odd 90-degree bend at the base, all curving northward before growing straight up. Planted around 1930, these healthy pines reach about 15 meters tall, but no one knows why their trunks are so oddly bent. Scientists and researchers have floated various theories, from heavy snow deforming the saplings to farmers deliberately shaping them for boat timber. But the true cause remains an eerie botanical mystery. This display of nature's own puzzling sculpture in the woods is a protected natural monument of Poland, attracting thousands of visitors a month. Fact 40. Earth's deepest cave lies in Europe. Deep beneath the Caucasus Mountains in Georgia lies the world's deepest known cave, Vyryuvkina. This mammoth wonder plunges over 2,212 meters, around 7,257 feet, into the earth. And if you want some perspective on that, you could stack 7 Eiffel Towers inside it. Cavers have only recently explored its infinite, bottomless pits, taking them on an otherworldly journey beneath Europe's surface. It's a reminder that even our planet's hidden depths can hold surprises beyond imagination. And if you're looking for an even wilder cave fact, we have you covered. Fact 39. The mysterious Radnica Abyss. The Radnica Abyss in the Czech Republic is the deepest flooded cave on Earth, reaching at least 473 meters underwater, and possibly up to 1,000 meters. The greatest confirmed depth is 519.5 meters, 1,704 feet, of which 450 meters, 1,476 feet, is underwater. It's an enormous, mostly unexplored underwater chasm. To put it into perspective, this freshwater abyss is so deep it could swallow the entire Burj Khalifa, the world's tallest skyscraper, and still have plenty of space left. It's a jaw-dropping reminder that beneath Europe's surface, some depths remain completely untouched and full of secrets. Fact 38. Spain and France share custody rights to an island. Back in 1659, France and Spain ended the Franco-Spanish War with the Treaty of the Pyrenees, signed on neutral ground, Pheasant Island. This tiny strip of land on the river Bidasoa, which separates the two countries, is about 656 feet long and 131 feet wide. Under their unique agreement, the island is jointly governed by a system called a condominium, in turn becoming known as Europe's island that swaps nationalities. For part of the year, from February 1st to July 31st, it's under Spanish control. The rest of the year, from August 1st to January 31st, it's under French rule. A pretty neat example of international cooperation on a tiny piece of land. Fact 37. Germany is home to the world's tallest cold water geyser. A geyser is a natural fountain that erupts hot, or in this case, cold water into the air, often caused by underground pressure and geothermal activity. In Andernach, Germany, you'll find a fascinating geyser fueled not by volcanic heat, but by CO2 gas. This odd natural wonder shoots water up to 60 meters high, making it the tallest cold water geyser on the planet. Every couple of hours, it erupts in a champagne-like fountain of mineral water, offering an explosive glimpse into the geology lurking beneath the Rhine Valley. Fact 36. Iceland has a brand new island where no humans are allowed. Surtsey, a small island approximately 32 kilometers from the south coast of Iceland, is one of the youngest places on Earth. Created by a volcanic eruption between 1963 and 1967. Because of its fragile environment, scientists have kept it off limits to the public, turning it into a living laboratory to observe how plants and animals colonize bare lava rock. 6 decades later, Surtsey remains a pristine natural time capsule rising straight from the Atlantic, offering a rare glimpse into nature's first steps in a new land. Fact 35. A river only 18 meters long. In the Caucasus, there's a river so tiny you might miss it. Reprua, located on the outskirts of Gagra in Abkhazia, Georgia. It flows just 18 meters, 59 feet before spilling into the Black Sea. It's one of the shortest rivers in the world, and it's said to be one of the coldest rivers on the Black Sea coast with a temperature of around 11 degrees Celsius, 52 degrees Fahrenheit. Fact 34. Norway owns the world's remotest island. Bouvet Island in the South Atlantic Ocean holds the title for the most remote island on Earth. Norwegian territory since 1929, it's about 1,100 miles north of Antarctica. The nearest inhabited land is roughly 1,200 miles away. No one lives there except for an unstaffed weather station. While there are many uninhabited islands in the world, Bouvet Island stands out because it is nearly entirely encased in a glacier. Only about 7% of the 49 square kilometers, 19 square miles that make up Bouvet Island are thought to be free of this glacier, and the center of the island is occupied by an ice-filled dormant volcano. Fact 33. A 90-second flight is available in Scotland. The world's shortest scheduled domestic flight, officially recognized by Guinness World Records, lasts just 90 seconds and covers only 1.7 miles. Operating between the remote islands of Westray and Papa Westray off Scotland's northeast coast, this tiny flight is on an 8-seater Britten-Norman Islander. Passengers, often teachers, doctors, police officers, and students, hop on for a quick skip across the Orkney Islands. While the schedule officially states 90 seconds, Guinness notes it's about 2 minutes if you include taxiing. At just 53 seconds of airtime, it's the shortest flight you'll ever take. Quick, practical, and, well, still technically counts as flying. Fact 32. Liechtenstein is one of 2 doubly landlocked countries in the world. A landlocked country is entirely surrounded by land, with no direct access to an ocean or sea, meaning you have to cross at least one border to reach the coast. But a doubly landlocked country is even more isolated. This is where it is landlocked itself, and is surrounded entirely by other landlocked nations. To reach the sea, someone from there must cross at least 2 borders. Only 2 countries have this distinction: Liechtenstein, stuck between Switzerland and Austria, and Uzbekistan, bordered by several landlocked nations like Afghanistan, Turkmenistan, Tajikistan, Kazakhstan, and Kyrgyzstan. Liechtenstein is tiny, just 62 square miles, with about 40,000 residents, but its unique geography makes it a fascinating landlocked enclave. Fact 31. France has 12 time zones. With its 12 standard times, France currently holds the world record for the country with the most time zones, beating even the United States and Russia, each with 11. You're probably wondering how this is possible. Well, this is because France's overseas territories are spread across the globe, from Africa and the Indian Ocean to the Pacific. These far-flung regions, known as France d'Outre-mer, have some territories that experience a full 24-hour time difference from each other. Fact 30. San Marino is the oldest country in Europe. San Marino was founded by Dalmatian Masons who fled from the Roman Empire in an attempt to evade religious persecution by Emperor Diocletian. An independent state within Italy, San Marino is actually the continent's oldest continuous independent republic, even though Bulgaria claims the status of oldest country by name. Through centuries of Italian wars and unification, San Marino was able to keep its freedom because of its advantageous hilltop location and natural defenses. Founded in 301 AD, according to the BBC, the tiny republic has maintained its self-governance for over 1,700 years, and it now serves as a small but significant reminder of tenacity and independence. Fact 29. The Czech Republic has the most castles in Europe. A nation packed with history and amazing architecture, the Czech Republic truly lives up to its reputation as a castle wonderland. If you were to visit a castle a day in the Czech Republic, it would take you nearly 3 years to see them all. With a staggering 932 castles and 1,187 stately homes, the Czechs boast more castles than any other European country. And anyone who's traveled around Europe knows that's saying something. Fact 28. Istanbul is the only major city resting on 2 continents. Istanbul, which spans both Europe and Asia, is in an exceptional position since the Bosphorus Strait passes directly through the center of the city. The renowned Bosphorus Bridge allows you to travel across continents. The city's economic and historical center is located on the more populated European side. With a population of over 14 million, Istanbul is the largest city in Turkey and has a 2,000-year history, having been the capital of the Ottoman, Byzantine, and Roman empires. Fact 27. Iceland has 0 mosquitoes. Out of over 3,500 mosquito species worldwide, Iceland is one of the few places with none. Thanks to its chilly climate and absence of shallow standing water, perfect breeding grounds, these pesky bloodsuckers simply can't survive there. A welcome relief for visitors prone to bites, Iceland proves that sometimes nature's quirks can be pretty delightful. So if you come here, take comfort in the fact you can enjoy exploring without piling on the mosquito repellent. Fact 26. An archipelago of 50,000 islands. Finland's archipelago sea refers to the sea area between the Åland Sea, the Gulf of Bothnia, and the Gulf of Finland, which is part of the Baltic Sea. It boasts the world's largest archipelago by the sheer number of islands. Around 50,000 tiny islands and islets scattered across the Baltic Sea. Most of these islands are tiny and uninhabited, creating a maze-like seascape that's unlike anything else on Earth. To put that into perspective, the world's second largest archipelago is in the Philippines, with only 7,000 islands. Fact 25. North Macedonia is home to Europe's oldest lake. Lake Ohrid, which is between 2 and 3 million years old and filled with unusual species, is the oldest lake in Europe. It lies tucked away between Albania and North Macedonia. This awe-inspiring lake is a true Galapagos of fresh water, supporting over 200 species unique to its location. Surrounded by mountains, Lake Ohrid has remained largely unchanged for over 1 million years, preserving one of the most unique ecosystems in Europe. It's a rare window into the distant past, home to species found nowhere else on Earth. Fact 24. Land of the midnight sun and polar night. Above the Arctic Circle in Europe, daylight hours are nothing short of mind-bending. In northern Norway and Svalbard, the summer sun can shine around the clock for up to 2.5 months, creating endless daylight in July. Come winter, that same region plunges into complete darkness for over 6 weeks, with the sun vanishing entirely, known as the polar night. Imagine experiencing continuous daytime during the summer and endless night in winter. This occurs because the Earth is rotating at a tilted axis relative to the sun, and during the summer months, the North Pole is angled towards our star. And Norway's bizarre facts don't end there. Fact 23. Polar bears outnumber people. On Norway's Svalbard archipelago, polar bears actually outnumber people. About 3,000 bears to 2,500 residents. Because of the risk, anyone leaving the main settlement is required to carry a firearm or travel with an armed guide. Attacks are rare, with only 5 reported since the 1970s, but Svalbard remains one of the few places on Earth where bear safety is a part of daily life. Fact 22. There's a Dutch town that splits into 22 enclaves. An enclave is a portion of territory within or surrounded by a larger territory, whose inhabitants are culturally or ethnically distinct. Barrel, a village shared by Belgium and the Netherlands, has one of the most tangled international borders on Earth, with enclaves inside enclaves and boundary lines cutting through homes and shops, essentially a puzzle. It's made up of 22 separate Belgian enclaves nestled inside the Netherlands. And inside 2 of the larger Belgian enclaves are 7 Dutch counter-enclaves, which are enclaves within other enclaves. The border zigzags through streets and even buildings, with some houses famously divided between the 2 countries, each with dual addresses. It's probably the most complicated border town in the world, where simply crossing the street can mean crossing a national boundary multiple times. A living, breathing example of borders blurring in the most absurd way. Fact 21. Europe's hottest spot ever. When you think of hot weather, you likely think of places like Senegal, the hottest country in the world, or parts of Western Asia. However, southern Europe can really sizzle. The highest temperature ever recorded on the continent hit a scorching 48.8 degrees Celsius, 119.8 degrees Fahrenheit in Sicily, Italy, measured in August 2021. This record-breaking heat has been officially confirmed as Europe's all-time high. So yes, Europe can be hotter than Death Valley on the worst of summer days. But what about the flip side? Fact 20, Europe's deep freeze record. While Europe can get blisteringly hot, it also has its brutally cold extremes. The coldest reliably recorded temperature was a bone-chilling negative 58 degrees Celsius, negative 72.6 degrees Fahrenheit, at Ust-Shygur in European Russia. This 1978 reading from a remote village in the Komi Republic showed that it was so cold that exposed skin could freeze within minutes. And it's even more crazy, as it was so cold that tossing boiling water in the air would turn it instantly to ice mid-flight. Fact 19. Spain is home to the world's smallest beach, half the size of a soccer field. The world's smallest beach is Gulpiyuri Beach, located in Llanes, Asturias, Spain. This unique beach is only 40 meters long and has no direct exit to the sea, making it an inland beach. The water is crystal clear and never deeper than 1 meter. Playa de Gulpiyuri borders a flooded sinkhole carved out by the powerful erosion of the Cantabrian Sea, in the middle of a huge field. According to the Daily Express, despite holding the title of the world's smallest beach, Playa de Gulpiyuri remains relatively unknown outside of Spain, making it quite the hidden gem. Fact 18. Germany has a vanishing river. In Germany, sections of the Danube River mysteriously disappear into underground karst sinkholes for months at a time, leaving the riverbed dry. The place where this happens is appropriately called Danuversickerung, which in German means Danube sinkhole, and is near the town of Immendingen. The lost water then reemerges 12 kilometers away at a spring, and reappears as a different river that eventually feeds into the Rhine. It's a fascinating example of nature's underground secrets, where a mighty river can seemingly vanish into thin air, only to reappear elsewhere, shaping the land in mysterious ways. Fact 17. Romania has a poisonous cave ecosystem. In Romania, the Movil Cave near Mangalia, Constanta County, has been sealed off from the outside world for about 5.5 million years. With no light and toxic, poisonous air, dozens of bizarre, blind creatures thrive deep underground in these extreme conditions, surviving on a sulfur and methane-based food chain instead of sunlight. Due to its extreme environment, access to Movil Cave is strictly controlled, and a limited number of researchers have permission to study its conditions. Fact 16. The UK has a global footprint. The UK maintains 14 British overseas territories, primarily due to historical ties, and the territories' own preferences for remaining under UK sovereignty. The UK is responsible for the territory's defense and foreign relations, while local governments handle day-to-day affairs. Among these are the small islands in the South Atlantic, such as St. Helena, Ascension, and Tristan da Cunha, to large territories in the Caribbean, such as the British Virgin Islands and the Cayman Islands. Fact 15. 1/3 of Germany is covered in forests and woodlands. Germany is truly a land of green, with 1/3 of the country covered in forests and woodlands. There are about 90 billion trees there. These forests act as the country's green lungs, vital for the environment and biodiversity. But they're not just natural landmarks. They're also a big part of everyday life. Over 90% of Germans spend time in forests, whether for hiking, picnics, or simply getting outdoors. Fact 14. France's tectonic highland. The Massif Central is a prominent highland region in southern France, shaped like a giant V. This mesmerizing physical structure was formed millions of years ago by tectonic plate collisions, creating rugged mountains and huge volcanic plateaus. Today, it stands as a striking natural feature, an impressive geological masterpiece born from the Earth's restless movements. Fact 13. Europe's coldest places are evergreen forests. In Europe's high mountains and far northern regions, farming is impossible due to the extreme cold. However, hardy evergreen trees like pines and firs flowers thrive in these chilly climates, surviving long, cold winters. That's why Europe's coldest spots are often blanketed in evergreen forests, nature's resilient green in the face of frosty conditions. Fact 12. A town built in a meteor crater. Nordlingen, a medieval town in southern Germany with over 20,000 residents, sits entirely inside a 15-million-year-old meteorite crater nearly 25 kilometers wide. What's even more surprising, many of its buildings were constructed using stone formed by the impact. Stone that contains millions of microscopic diamonds, created by the asteroid's immense heat and pressure. These diamonds are too small to be used or mined, but their presence makes Nordlingen one of the only towns on Earth literally built from cosmic impact. This dazzling phenomenon remained a well-kept secret until the 1960s, when American geologists Eugene Shoemaker and Edward Chow visited the town, revealing its incredible natural history. Further to its mystifying charm, Nordlingen even appeared in the iconic 1971 movie Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Fact 11. Italy discovered the Bahamas. During the Renaissance, European merchants were eager to trade with distant lands like India, bringing back valuable spices and precious stones. Overland travel was slow and difficult, so they dreamed of reaching India by sea. The obstacle? Africa, which was huge and in the way. But if the Earth was truly round, as people were beginning to believe, sailing west could be the shortcut. In 1492, Christopher Columbus, who was Italian by birth but sailed under the Spanish flag, set sail from Spain, aiming for India by crossing the Atlantic. Instead of reaching Asia, they stumbled upon the Bahamas, an island chain in the Caribbean Sea near what would later become the coast of America. It was an accidental discovery that changed world history forever. Fact 10. In Slovenia, there's a lake that breathes. Lake Cerknica in Slovenia is known as a disappearing lake because it periodically drains completely into underground channels, leaving behind a grassy plain. This natural phenomenon occurs because the lake sits on a porous limestone bed, allowing water to sink into underground sinkholes. Mainly fed by autumn rains and spring thaw, the lake fills up again suddenly, almost like magic, thanks to water from karst springs that bubble up at the edge and flow underground through these sinkholes. Fact 9. Living under a rock, literally. Citanil de las Bodegas is probably the least sunny town in sunny southern Spain. And that's for one very simple reason. It's built underneath a giant rock. This village in Andalusia, Spain, is famous for its unique architecture. Many homes are built directly into the natural rock formations of a canyon. Located in a narrow gorge, the village's buildings use the towering rock walls as walls and even roofs for some houses. This creates a distinctive and almost surreal landscape. Of its roughly 3,000 residents, many live in these cave-like homes, seamlessly blending natural geology with everyday life. Fact 8. Europe is home to 6 microstates. What exactly is a microstate? Well, they're pretty rare. Just a tiny slice of the world's 195 recognized countries. They play a surprisingly big role in international politics despite their small size. And Europe? It's got 6 of these little powerhouses all to itself. These 6 tiny sovereign states are small enough that they total less than 200 square miles combined. The tiniest of them all, Vatican City, clocking in at just 0.17 square miles, smaller than a lot of city parks. On the other end, Andorra is the largest, covering 181 square miles. The others, San Marino, Monaco, Liechtenstein, and Malta. Fact 7. Monaco is smaller than Central Park. While Central Park in New York spans about 843 acres, roughly 1.3 square miles, Monaco, the second smallest country in the world, is only about 499 acres, about 0.8 square miles. Despite its tiny size, Monaco is the most densely populated country on Earth, with approximately 26,000 residents per square kilometer. And for a fun bonus fact, it also has the world's shortest national coastline at 3.83 kilometers, 2.38 miles. Fact 6. Frozen in time permafrost. In Longyearbyen, a high Arctic town in Svalbard, the permafrost is so permanently frozen that burying bodies is actually banned, as corpses never decompose in the icy ground. Remarkably, scientists have found that a body buried there in 1918 still contained intact live viruses, preserved by the extreme cold even after more than a century. This discovery has led to a ban on burials, as authorities worry that the permafrost could preserve and potentially revive dangerous viruses from the past, including those from the 1918 flu pandemic. Fact 5. Wandering Dunes of Leba. In Poland's Słowiński National Park, towering sand dunes, often called the Polish Sahara, migrate inland at up to 10 meters each year, driven by the Baltic winds. These shifting dunes, now reaching heights of 30 to 40 meters, have gradually swallowed entire forests, and even the old village of Zwierzynek. Shaped by strong sea winds, these dunes shift by several meters each year, constantly changing the environment and leaving a visible trail of their path. Fact 4. Norway has a crazy long coastline. You probably know that Norway has a huge coastline, but just how huge may surprise you. Thanks to its countless fjords and islands, Norway has the longest coastline in Europe, stretching over 100,000 kilometers. That's right, Norway's winding, rugged shoreline is the second longest in the world, just behind Canada. And get this, it's longer than many much larger countries' coastlines combined. Norway's fjords carve into the land, making its coast an absurd maze of nature. Proof that size isn't everything when it comes to geography. Fact 3. Devil's Town hoodoos. Dovolia Varos, or Devil's Town as it's known in English, is the result of quick erosion caused by rushing water, ancient volcanic activity, and deforestation. This bizarre valley in Serbia is filled with about 200 natural stone spires, some nearly 15 meters tall, each capped with a hefty rock hat. These eerie earth pyramids were sculpted over centuries from volcanic clay, inspiring local legends that they're a petrified, cursed village frozen in time, a stunning testament to the power of natural forces. Fact 2. Spain's bubblegum pink lake. Just outside of Torrevieja in Costa Blanca, Laguna Salada de Torrevieja, also called Laguna Rosa, is a massive, entirely pink lake located about an hour from the popular Spanish holiday spot of Alicante. The lake's rosy tint comes from salt-loving microbes and algae thriving in its extreme salinity. The water is so salty that local shrimp flourish, attracting flocks of pink flamingos, and bathers can float effortlessly, often referred to as the bubblegum pink lake. It truly is a surreal, eye-popping natural wonder that has blown up on social media in recent years. Fact 1. Mud volcanoes of Burka. Romania's Burka mud volcanoes are a captivating natural phenomenon where underground gases force mud and salty water to the surface, forming small, cone-shaped structures that resemble volcanoes. These mud volcanoes are not connected to volcanic activity or lava, but are driven by the eruption of natural gases beneath the surface. The ground is constantly changing as mud and gas erupt, creating a dynamic and surreal environment. These tiny conical mounds, only a few meters high, bubble and sputter with gray mud, offering a neat look into Earth's geothermal processes. What about why nobody lives in these 10 empty capital cities?